I know that Bridget is doing the Ultimate Reset, day 9,
Yeah.
right? And this woman is exhausted, guys. So she asked if it was cool if we kept it short, and I know nobody in here is going to argue with a shorter call because I know it's going to be packed full of information for you guys. And we're all busy, and I know at this point in the day we're all tired probably, but I just appreciate, Bridget, you so much of being on here. And I know most of you guys probably know Bridget, but I still want to give her a little intro because she's pretty phenomenal, and there might be coaches on here who aren't super familiar with who Bridget is. But and I didn't, okay, I'm going to be going off the top of my head, girl, because I did not actually ask you for your bio. Bridget lives in the Twin Cities area in Minnesota, and she is married, and she has 2 little boys who are going into 1st grade and kindergarten, I think.
He's gonna wait. So
Okay.
1st grade and 5-year-old preschool.
Yeah. 1st grade and 5-year-old preschool. Okay, but the ages.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. So 2 little guys. She's the mom of very busy, active little boys. Bridget has a background in corporate America. She actually worked for Target Corp for many years before deciding to stay home after her first little guy was born. And she also teaches fitness classes, and so she decided to keep fit. It's a passion to teach classes at the gym. Doesn't do a lot to pay the bills. And this coaching opportunity has fallen into her lap. How long have you been doing it? 1.5 years, Bridget?
It'll be 2 in July.
What? Okay. 2 years in July. I don't think she has yet to miss Success Club. As far as I know, she has yet to miss Success Club 10, which is amazing. So she is soon going to be a Success Club 10 legend in July. And that is also, guys, that means she literally in 2 years of coaching has yet to miss, period. So not just 2 years, but 2 years since she started. So it's incredible. She's a 2-star diamond. Soon to be, well, she has 3 personally sponsored lifetime diamonds. So she's got a lot going on, guys. I mean, this woman she's passionate about helping people get fit. She's passionate about supporting her coaches in their business. And she's just super fun to hang out with, and I love her. And I'm so blessed that we met each other through this opportunity, because Bridget is not actually my personally sponsored coach. We've got one coach in between us, which most people probably didn't know because I embrace her as my own. So that was my off the cuff intro, Bridget. Did I miss anything? I feel like I should sing you more accolades. I mean, you're just amazing. So
no, that was perfect.
Okay. Thank you for being here with us tonight, and tell us more about Instagram. Before I turn it over to Bridget, could I get a show of hands of how many of you guys have an Instagram account? How many of you guys use your Instagram account for this business? Okay. So we've dabbled. We could say that. We've dabbled, right? I have one, and I have done nothing with it for my business yet. And so I am anxious to hear what Bridget has to say. And I know that everybody's got their pens ready, and you're going to take some notes. So, Bridget, I will turn it over to you. Got a pretty small group, guys, so don't be afraid to type in if you got questions, okay?
All right. Well, I'm just going to preface with this little Instagram tutorial on, so by no means am I an expert. I don't have a huge Instagram following. It's just something that I really am trying to spend a lot more time doing. I've asked for a couple of Instagram mentors, people that use it really well. And so I'm kind of picking their brain and just, trying to kind of figure out how to move in that direction and kind of steer away a little bit from Facebook. And I'll kind of explain why once we get into the presentation. But just so you know, I'm not a huge Instagram person as far as, I've had tons of success, getting challengers and coaches. But I've spent a little time doing some training and picking people's brains. And I just kind of want to share what I have learned and kind of where I'm at right now, in hopes that I can catch you guys early enough so that you can kind of get there too, and that we can all kind of venture the same direction together, and we can all grow our Instagram, because I think it's something that's super exciting and super fun. And it, I think we just get to a point where Facebook just feels kind of, the same and a little bit old, and maybe you're, I've been around 2 years and I'm starting to feel like some of my stuff doesn't resonate. It's hard to add people, so Instagram is kind of the way to go. So I'm going to pop over. I did just kind of a little bit of a PowerPoint here. You can see that. This will have anything that you want to jot down. So Instagram tips to grow and connect. It's kind of my theme here. All right, so about Instagram, just to give you a little bit of background and how to think about how big it is, there's 100 million monthly active users. That is giant, you guys. So Instagram spans throughout the world. I know Beachbody isn't worldly yet. However, someday we're going to get there. And so it would be really nice to have a way to reach folks that don't live in just the US, right? So Instagram is that avenue. Tons and tons and tons of folks are on Instagram. Way more people than Facebook. I forget what the number is for Facebook. I should have looked that up. But I just wanted to give you that scope in your mind of how big Instagram is. So basically, Instagram is like a magazine subscription. You use it for pictures. You're going to put your picture on there of whatever it is you're going to talk about during your whatever you're going to post. But you want to think about it as telling a story. Your picture is going to tell a story. It's going to capture people's eyes. You want it to be creative. You want it to, be a scroll stopper. Knowing how many people are on Instagram, what's going to make them stop at your picture? What's going to catch their eye? Why don't you just take a second to think about some of the things, that maybe you already post on Instagram that you can think about, making it into a little bit of a story. Now, I don't want you to think about Instagram as just kind of like, here's my shake. I had it for breakfast, post, done. Take it a step further. Maybe make a cool, it doesn't have to take a ton of time. It's not like you need to set up a 15-minute photo shoot for your Shakeology or your workout. But, do a different pose. Show a different muscle that maybe you're proud of, and the story of how you didn't have that before. Or, talk a little bit about, talk about one thing that Shakeology has done for you that day in that post, and how that makes you feel amazing. Maybe it's your digestion. Maybe it's your skin. You don't have to talk about everything every single time, but maybe just pick out one thing and tell a story around that picture. Like I said, you want it to be kind of a scroll stopper. It's okay to be vulnerable and share. I think it kind of gets people to know who you are, because like Facebook, you're friends with them. Most likely you're going to know people, sometimes not if you get them through your like page or whatnot. But these are mostly random strangers. So how can you use Instagram as a way to kind of share a little bit of who you are in really short snaps? You want to keep the stories short. The average person spends 21 minutes on Instagram. Okay, that's not a whole lot of time. They are scrolling. They're scrolling. This is how they go through Instagram. I forget the percentage of how many people are viewing it on their phone, but it is high. Versus Facebook, you do get a lot of the desktop, the laptop. But Instagram is a ton on the phone. It's smaller. People aren't gonna, and I'm guilty of this too. If you want to share kind of a more vulnerable story, it might be like 5 paragraphs. I'm trying really hard not to do that. Like it's not the place for something super long. So keep it really short, knowing that they're only spending 20 minutes total. And why are they going to stop at your picture? Maybe start out with a sentence that's going to catch them in. I found this interesting when I was looking today. The top accounts, so like the Hollywood accounts of Instagram, let's call it, those are folks that have 10,000 or more followers. 59% are men. So men do use Instagram quite a bit, which is kind of nice. You know, I know a lot of us work with mostly women, but wouldn't that be nice if we could, you know, tap into the male market a little bit more? If you open up your Instagram, if you have it on your phone right now, what I kind of like to do is go look at the last 3 pictures that you posted. That's kind of what people, like if people want to look at your profile, say, I want to see if I jive with this, you know, this Bridget gal. I'm going to go to her page. They're going to look at the top 3. You know, you can see your profile and then you can see the top 3 and your last 3 pictures that you posted. So look at your last 3. Would you stop? Would you stop at yours? You know, is it something eye-catching? Is it something fun? Were you kind of creative? If you quick scroll down, would you look through and be like, wow, this person's, I like their page. That's what you want to think about when you're posting, all right? You want people to be able to just quick scroll through your pictures and know, you know, kind of what you're about. Ooh, she's on a health journey. She likes to eat clean, or, you know, it looks like she makes healthy foods. But not just that, you know, maybe you want to put a few pictures of your family to show that you're a mom. I do that. I try not to do an overly amount of family pictures, but you know, that's part of my brand. So you're going to see some pictures in there, my family. You're going to see some of my running photos. I do a lot of following of other runners. Because that's kind of part of my brand. So I'm going to weave in some running posts, and it's kind of dorky, but I actually put my camera down and I'll do the 10-second delay or the 3-second delay, and I'll run by and I'll try to get a picture of me in a running pose. It might take a couple of times, but usually I'll get a good one. And then I'll say something about, you know, how I felt on that run or why I like running, and just show that I'm actually doing it. So it's not just about my sweaty selfie of what I'm getting done, but it's actually me running. And that's going to catch some eyes. Like, ooh, you know, she's got one in her actual running pose out there doing something. So just be creative and have a little fun. So people that follow you, okay, they're going to follow you because you speak to them in some way, shape, or form. So whether you're motivational, maybe they can relate to you, maybe they just, you know, they love your attitude, your outlook. Are you positive? Are you real? Are you funny? Are you quirky? I would try to just be you. You know, just like on Facebook, try to be who you are, but really kind of showcase what kind of personality you have. You know, do you always look at the bright side? Is your glass half full all the time? And know again that people that follow you, they're not going to know you for the most part. They're going to be strangers. So why would they want to follow you? Just always kind of keep that in mind. Maybe because you're inspiring. Maybe because they like your workout videos. Oh my gosh, she's got awesome videos. I'm going to follow her. I like her tips. Just kind of jot some ideas down while I'm just kind of sharing some of these things that you can start sharing that people would like. When you're following people back, or you look for people to follow, you too are going to look for people that you find motivating or interesting or that you jive with, right? So you will have followers that are following you because they like your magazine subscription, right? And they're going to unfollow if it's boring or if it's not motivating or if it's, and that's okay. You know, that might happen. You might get some followers that change. You'll get new ones. But keep in mind that, you know, people want to subscribe to you for that reason that they originally came to your page. So you kind of have to keep up that same theme. And we'll talk about themes in a minute. And we'll talk about hashtags in a minute. So how to grow your Instagram account. And this is kind of why we're all here, right? We want to know how to grow it. So what I've been doing for the last probably 2 to 3 months, this is step number 1. If you haven't been doing this, this is your first step. You are going to start posting 2 to 3 times a day on Instagram. Number 1 step. So I've been doing that probably for 2 months now, 3 times a day. And these are not always my Facebook posts because I'm not going to post as much on Facebook. I'm going to post more on Instagram because, again, people, it's not timely. They're not seeing that you posted at certain times. They're probably scrolling through. They're probably searching hashtags, which I'll get to in a second. So don't worry about how many times a day you post on Instagram. You could post 10 times a day and it wouldn't matter. Facebook, that's going to seem a little annoying, a little too much. It's going to show up in people's feeds too much. And again, Instagram, there's so many people following that they're going to get lost. So don't worry about how many times or what time. I would think about your 3 to 5 hats of what kind of makes you your own brand and kind of keep that as a theme. You probably do that on Facebook, so I would keep it the same on Instagram. I would do a lot of pictures with your face in it. Again, these are strangers, so they want to know that you're a real person. And, are you smiling? Are you making funny faces? Be your own personality like we talked about before. And now this is when you want to start using hashtags, okay? So your first step, you're going to start posting 2 to 3 times today, thinking about making a meaningful, not just, hey, I worked out. Take it a step further. What does that workout mean for you? Why is it different today than it was 2 years ago before you started working out every day? Take it a little step further. People will stop and read something meaningful. It just can't be super duper long. And it's okay. I think the more vulnerable we are, the better on Instagram too, because people are going to connect with you. Facebook, they might connect with you because they're a friend of a friend or they're already your friend, right? But on Instagram, again, these are strangers. So it's probably more important to be vulnerable, I would say, on Instagram because you want them to connect to who you are because they don't have that connection. They didn't have to friend request you. You are a total stranger. They're coming to your page for a reason. So using hashtags is what we're going to talk about next. I would think about 30. So Instagram allows you to post 30 hashtags at a time. I would jot down at least 30 right now, if not more. So what you're going to do is once you start posting your 2 to 3 times a day, you're going to go in after you posted your picture with your little words that describe your picture for that day, your story. You're going to go in and comment on your own picture, and you're going to copy and paste your hashtags in. Now, I use all 30 every single time. What I do is on my iPhone, I go to my notes section of my phone. This little yellow guy right here, you probably can't see it. So do you all have a place where you can jot down notes? I actually put all 30 of my hashtags in a note, and I have it saved so that when I go and I comment and use my hashtags, I can just quick go to my notes, copy, and then paste in the comments to Instagram. So you don't have to type them out every single time. That was super frustrating to me when I first started being more consistent. I was like, are you kidding me? I have to type out 30 hashtags. No wonder why I don't want to post on Instagram all the time. It's taking way too much time. So just save them in your notes. I go in, I just copy the same ones, and I paste. Okay, so now we're thinking what hashtags. It's okay to do fitness ones if that's part of who you are. And I'm sure we're all going to have some of them, clean eater, workout, fitness. But I would try to shy away from a lot of fitness ones because you're going to get a lot of other coaches. You're going to get people that are already fitness people that are most likely already a Beachbody coach. And I struggle with this a little bit because I'm a fitness instructor, I'm a personal trainer, so fitness is definitely part of me. So I'm going to have a couple of those hashtags, but I would really, really try to think of hashtags that make you super unique. And like, who are the folks that you can jive with, that you would feel comfortable messaging because you have something in common? I'm even talking about like, moms that breastfeed. I'm going to like places where you maybe wouldn't think of. People with anxiety, people with depression. It's okay to use stuff like that as a hashtag. Is there whatever makes you unique? I would honestly try it out as a hashtag because those are the folks that you have something in common with, that you connect with, that are going to be different than me or Jess or Rachel. We don't want to attract the same people. We're looking for different folks, and we're all different. So why wouldn't we, right? So we're not all going to use clean eating and fitness and workout. What makes you unique? And try to think of some unique hashtags. Now, you might play around with these for a while, and some might change out, and that's okay. Like, I kind of took some of mine out, and I threw in a couple of different ideas. And that's okay. So it might be kind of a work in progress, but you can use your 30, go into that post before you hit okay or done, and maybe just change 2 for that specific post. So if I did one about drinking water and I talk about, how I feel after I'm hydrated, maybe I'll take out 1 or 2 and I'll hashtag hydration and water. You might want to add a couple that are relevant to what you're posting, but otherwise they're not going to be relevant to what you're posting. If it's about your workout, you might have a hashtag that's about you being a runner in there. Okay, so it doesn't always have to relate to the posts. And I think that's what some people get confused about. They think the hashtag needs to relate to what the post, and actually it's not. And I'll explain kind of why in a second. All right, so save the hashtag in your notes. Have at least 30. You can only use 30. If you try to use 31, it won't let you post. So after you're done, you're going to hit done. So now you've commented on your own post, if that makes sense, with your hashtags. Now, why do we do that? Because people can search those hashtags. They're going to be on their phones. They're going to go into Instagram. I want to find runners. So I'm gonna look up hashtag runner, and I'm gonna see whose pictures come up. And boom, there's me in my running pose. Ooh, that's cool. They're gonna, grab mine, look at it. Ooh, I might check her out. Okay, she looks interesting. I'm gonna follow her. Okay, so that's how it works. People can search by your hashtag, and all those same hashtags will come up, and yours will be one of them because you're in that hashtag community, if that makes sense. But you get 30 of them. So now we've talked about being consistent. We've talked about using hashtags to define, who we are and who we want to connect with. Now it's time to start connecting. Okay, so that's step 3. And this is kind of where I'm at right now. I've done the hashtags. I'm doing the hashtags. I've done the consistency for a couple months. And now I'm starting to do the connecting. So what I want to do is look under my hashtags. Did I put runner? Did I put runner over 40? I'm going to see, who else is a runner over 40? And I'm going to look up that hashtag. There's a place where you can search hashtags. And I'll scroll through, and those same people that use that same hashtag, their pictures are going to pop up. So you can just scroll through and you see one that's eye-catching, and you stop and you open up their account. And then you can see kind of, what's she up to? And you can follow them. All right. So you want to spend some time looking for other people like you. Who has your same hashtags? Who has your same theme? And start to follow, okay? You're going to start to like their posts. You're going to start to comment on their posts. Anything that you think would be a compliment. You'll get the cheesy ones that you can tell they're trying to sell you something like, hey, nice profile, nice Instagram account. So you want it to be maybe something that's less generic, and just start to see if you can engage in some conversations. You do want to have some sort of tracking system maybe of folks that you kind of have your eye on, like, ooh, this person could maybe be someone who would be a good challenger. Maybe they're posting about their fitness journey and that they already look like they're moving towards health. Maybe they're rocking it and they look like they could be a coach. So maybe you want to start tracking a couple of people that you start to follow, that you kind of have your eye on, right? And that you've commented on. Now you're going to take it a step further and really start commenting on the same people. And now you're going to be ready to message them. So there is a place where you can go and message people directly. And this is where you start the conversations. Okay? Did I go? No, that was the last one on that one. I'm not going to move on to invite yet. You're going to start to message them, so maybe whatever brought you to their page. So let's talk about me and the running theme. I see someone who I want to connect with and kind of, start a conversation. So I'm going to say, hey, I love your posts. I see that you're a runner. Do you do any races, or you just you like to run for fun? I like to connect with other mom runners. So you're going to see if they respond, and that's your conversation. Maybe I'll say, hey, what do you do for cross training? And, maybe they say, gosh, I don't have any cross training. Hey, have you ever, this is kind of your time to start to be able to get a feeling that you could maybe bring in an invite, and maybe it's 4 or 5 conversations, and you're going to be able to figure out, is this person a candidate for a challenge group? Is this a person a candidate for coaching because they're already posting, super inspiring pictures and fitness stuff? So I really would try to use Instagram. Ideally, we all would like to and should, as a way to look for coaches, because Facebook, if you think about it, people they could be on a health journey on Facebook, but they're not posting about it. They're not sharing it. Instagram, there's tons of people posting their befores and afters, their food, because that's what it is. It's all pictures, and you don't have to be friends with people. You can be, a little more indiscreet on Instagram. So I would really say spend time looking for people that are kind of already on a journey. If they're documenting their fitness and their eating, they're kind of already a coach. They're just not getting paid for it, right? So that could be a really good way for you to segue into a conversation during the message. Like, hey, this is what I do, and I am able to earn, would you ever want to chat about what I do? You're already rocking on your posts, and it looks like you're, amazing, showcasing that you live a healthy lifestyle, and that's what I do. So that's kind of how you want to connect with folks, is you're commenting, you're liking, you're following the same people, but you're really spending time connecting. And I would kind of make a list of those people, and maybe you'll figure out like, ooh, she looks like a coach. Okay, I'm moving on. You're going to see a picture of Shakeology. You're going to move on, and that's going to happen. But I would again try to either look for people that are documenting their fitness journey and they're rocking it, or they look like you can relate to them on one of those hashtags that isn't fitness and health related, so that you can start connecting with other people that are like you. Okay, so that's kind of the tier that I'm in, is trying to do the connecting right now and the messaging. And I think this has so much room to grow, you guys, and it's exciting. And it's a way for us to meet people that we don't have to friend request, that we don't have to know. It kind of takes out that pressure and maybe the sometimes icky feeling that we get of having to always, friend request people we don't know, or friends of friends. This kind of opens it up to whatever. There's a whole world of people out there using Instagram. So I think for me, it's a mindset, and it's somewhere that I'm ready for, and I need to build into my power hours. I need to stop scrolling through Facebook and start spending time on Instagram, because that is where I'm going to get a cold market, and that's where I'm going to grow. So if you can, chunk out a part of your Instagram time, we heard in the National Wake Up Call this morning about the chunks, maybe spend a less time on Facebook. Maybe you're still going to send out your couple of, your invites can be done right on Instagram too, because that counts, right? If we're inviting someone, we can do it right on Instagram. So I would try to figure out a way to start spending a little bit more time, consistent pictures, the hashtags, the connecting, the following other folks with the same hashtags, connecting via messages, boom, inviting. All right. Does this make sense? I'm going to get out of that. Now, again, I'm not to the point where I'm like, getting challengers and getting coaches. So that's kind of where I'm headed. So I can't really speak to like how people, are able to do this super successfully. I've just been kind of picking a lot of people's brains that do it well. And again, they just spend a lot of time connecting on Instagram and messaging and commenting and searching those hashtags, and being pretty vulnerable. Because what if someone says no? It's no big deal. You don't know them. What if they don't answer your message? Again, you don't know them. It feels a little bit safer, honestly, than Facebook, because on Facebook, you can tell when they've read it, and maybe you can on Instagram too. But again, you're probably connected to them. You probably know them. So this just kind of opens up the playing field, and it makes it kind of more exciting for us, I think. Okay, I'll stop chatting. Do you guys have questions? Anybody?
Carla, can you hear me? I have one too.
Okay, go ahead.
So you actually want to comment on your own picture, not like put it in the actual like body of the post?
Exactly. Okay, because why we do that is because then people can search that hashtag, and you can go back and delete it. Like, let's say you decided that your hashtags aren't really working and you're getting too many coaches and you're getting too many fitness people, and it's maybe because you have too many fitness hashtags, you can actually go in and delete your own comment. You can't do that, if it's in your post, you can't go back and change out the hashtags.
Gotcha.
And it takes like 2 seconds. At first I was like, oh my gosh, this is a huge pain, it takes forever. But if you have them saved somewhere and you can just quick copy them over and paste, it's like, I do it right away so I don't forget. Otherwise I used to forget, and I'd be like, oh, I haven't hashtagged for a while. So just do it right away as soon as you're done posting. And you'll notice as soon as you do the hashtags, people will come. I get notifications on my phone, like so-and-so liked it, so-and-so commented, so-and-so is following you. It's pretty cool.
I know Melissa McAllister and Bridget, you were there for her talk on that too. She talked about how she'll go through and delete and change hashtags, and she'll keep them in the comments section. It's a lot more editable, if that's a word.
Yeah.
You guys should know, but if it's attached to your picture, it's a no-go. You can't switch it up.
Yeah, so you could change your whole theme and get a bunch of more people to like that post too. Yep. Absolutely.
You could come up with 2 sets of 30 hashtags if you wanted.
And I would even like look at a couple of people that you admire, as a coach or as a fitness person, and just kind of peek at their page, see what they post, maybe look at their hashtags, not that you're going to use the same ones, but just kind of see what did they do. And it might just help spark some ideas, because that kind of helped me. And I would make a real good mix. Again, they line up when you look at Facebook or Instagram. They line up. There's 3 pictures to each row. I would kind of look like you don't want sweaty selfie, right? Kind of want a little variety, because it looks like a picture collage when you open up your profile. So make it kind of those squares. It's like a quilt. You want different stuff. So don't do 2 posts of food in a row. Make it kind of a good variety. I usually do one morning motivation, whatever that is. Maybe it's me at my desk, it's me at my workout, just a thought for the day. I do one motivation, I do one food, and then I usually do one kind of random, just to make sure that I don't have the same 3 in one day.
Do you have any do's and don'ts as far as what should or shouldn't be in your profile?
I would not say coach. Let me just look at mine here quick. I wouldn't put your Beachbody website either. So mine says, and I forget how I did this. I should screenshot it. I'll screenshot it and I'll put it, when we're all done with this, I'll put it in the comments, what mine looks like. But I have, Bridget Hammond, and then I have a new line. It's really clean, so it doesn't run together. I think I had to space it out and I had to do it on my laptop. I couldn't do it on my phone. I have a little icon of a family and I put mom of boys because that's part of my brand. And then on a new line, I have a tennis shoe and it says runner. And then I have a little weight person. It says fitness instructor and trainer. And then I have a strawberry that says clean eater. And then I have a little coffee and a wine emoji. It says coffee and wine lover. And then I have a shoe that says fashionista. And then I put, 40-pound weight loss. And so that kind of gives them a Snapchat of Snapchat, are you kidding me? I got lots of social media on my brain. A snapshot of who I am without saying, ooh, she's a coach or she is screaming Beachbody. But it's like, can I identify with her in those, 5 or 6 things? Make it kind of fun, make it not just about fitness. And then I do have my Facebook, how to reach me on Facebook on there. And I talked to someone about this recently, so I think there's kind of 2 conflicting views. I've had people tell me, ideally you want to bring them over to Facebook so that they can kind of see another way to see you, and they can see your challenge group posts, your call outs, and just kind of, that you're in their face a little bit more. But I just spoke to someone recently who actually disagreed with that. And she said, I disagree. She's like, I don't think you want to bring him to Facebook. She's like, I think the magic happens all in Instagram. And again, a lot of people are on Instagram because they don't want to be on Facebook. How many do you know that they don't have Facebook at all? I know it's not super common, but they might have an Instagram account. They just don't want that, that kind of avenue that Facebook has, where you have to, friend requests and they can be a little bit more private-ish, and you can use a different username. It doesn't have to say your real name. Mine's Fitness with Bridget, so you don't really know who I am or where I live or anything. So I have my Facebook, a way to reach me there, but I don't think I'll necessarily try to get people to connect with me there. I think I'll try to keep it all to Instagram. I just think it's easier. It just feels like one more place. Really, you're going to message them and then say, hey, let's connect on Facebook. And then they have to go find you. You already have them in those messages. Why not try to make it happen right there?
Bridget, what's the video length limit on Instagram?
I think it's 15 or 20 seconds. It's pretty short. You can actually...
It actually just went up to 1 minute.
Did it go up?
Just recently, because I was over and I found out about it by mistake.
That's awesome.
So it's 60 seconds now.
Oh, perfect. Because it was super short before.
Yeah, and it just recently changed.
That's awesome. And what you can do, so you can either go into Instagram and start a video from there, or you can do a video, on your phone and then go grab it And there is a little button once you add your video in that says trim. So you can trim your video right in Instagram. Like if you see yourself walking over to hit play and you want to cut that out, you can do that right in Instagram. You just bring it in at the beginning and you bring it in at the end, and then it'll just grab your middle. But I think that's a great idea to get some videos in there. And again, you can use, this doesn't have to be stuff that it's extra work. You know, it can be stuff that you're already using in different places. You know, everything that I put on Facebook, you'll see on Instagram. I just use Instagram more, again, because you don't have to worry about I already posted today and it was a few hours ago, or so mine are pretty much the same, but you're going to see more on my Instagram than you are on Facebook. So it's really not duplicate work. You know, you might be adding a couple in, but you don't feel like you need to do, 4 on Instagram, 2 on Facebook, 2 on like page. You know, mine are all kind of the same. I might just time it out different, so you don't see them, all 3 places at the same time.
Just to tag on, first of all, great info, tons of great info. I took a ton of notes. You were talking about hashtags, and one tip that I had heard somewhere along the line was, you can have a hashtag that maybe you'll only use one time. If you're wearing an outfit, let's say from, I don't know, like tonight I took a picture and I had an outfit on from White House Black Market, so I hashtagged White House Black Market. I'm probably not going to do that every single time, but there was another time I got my nails done and I hashtagged the nail polish, OPI and nails, and I actually got some people. So it might not, that's not who I am, that's not my brand, but occasionally, or if you're wearing like your necklace or, something that's showing in the picture that might be in the background, even your car, Chevy or whatever, you can hashtag those things and maybe get a few people. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely would suggest keeping, you go and you copy and you paste and then just look at it and say, is there any 2 that I could take out and add in 2 that are kind of relevant to that post that day? Or maybe you only have 28 hashtags and you're always going to leave room for 2 that are going to be just for that post that day, or, just kind of play around with it and see. But I do have to say it can be a little frustrating if you get a lot of coaches that follow you. That's kind of happening to me. They're like, great photo, love your profile. And you're like, ooh, you go through and you're like, oh, yep, they're a coach. So really just start thinking of hashtags that maybe aren't, fitness related, because those people are probably searching a lot of fitness or clean eating. It's going to happen. There's a lot of coaches out there, but don't let that discourage you. I would say, it's not a reason to just give up on Instagram because you think everybody's a coach. However many are in our network, 400,000, and there's 10 million a month using, or whatever I said, 100 million a month using Instagram. So think big picture. It's going to feel sometimes like, oh my gosh, everyone's a coach. But you just got to keep playing with those hashtags and, really find things that are unique to you and who you would jive with.
Bridget, you've got a couple of comments in the chat box here.
Mine, so I've been posting for a couple months. Mine's doubled, which, it started out at like 200 and now it's like 475. It's still very low, but I was excited with growth because I really was so sporadic before and I didn't really know what to post and I wasn't really using hashtags. Like I said, I would forget to hashtag. So now, I've been 3 times a day for like probably 2 months now and just kind of really tweaking the hashtags a little bit. So it's doubled. I just feel like I'm in a good rhythm now and it's kind of part of my routine. So now I need to take it a step further and do that connecting and inviting. What else do we have here? Splice is a great app. Okay. I haven't heard of that one. That's good to know. No watermark. Rachel, when you were referring to get people, do you just mean people were following you or liking you? I think that was Chong's question. When you referred to when you got people because you used OPI or you meant like yeah.
Yes, people started following me as a result. I mean, I'm not a ton, but these are hashtags that I wouldn't normally use.
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned this, so forgive me if you already did, but anytime I get a new follower, I always respond back. I think you already said that, but that seems to at least get a conversation going.
Absolutely. And just follow people back, look at their page maybe before, because maybe you're going to notice they're a coach. But if you're followed by somebody, follow them back. Every time you follow someone, they get a little note that says so-and-so followed you. So then your profile is going to pop up. And, I always look, I'm like, ooh, who followed me? I'm going to look at their page. So if you're doing that to people, they're going to do the same thing.
I know this is so fabulous, Bridget. I've got so many notes down and I'm inspired. I've got a couple comments and a question too. I know Melissa had talked about making sure, and this is obviously guys a no-brainer because we know the same thing for Facebook is true, but you're making sure that you're not using stock kind of photos, or Pinterest crap. You're basically spitting back out on Instagram, so label dropping, that kind of thing. So rather than taking a picture of you with your bag of Shakeology, take an artistic picture of, she had mentioned a strawberry dropping in the Shakeology, and then, don't be dropping a lot of name brand, Beachbody brand crap. And that's just a no-brainer. You guys know that already, but just we try to steer away from that on Facebook. I know that's a no-no for Instagram too. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, question for you, Bridget. Now that you feel like you focused your energy here a little bit more, how much time a day would you say your routine, how much time a day, and I know I hate when people ask me this question because it's hard to know, but are you dedicating to Instagram, learning it, mastering it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think at the beginning I was just using it for consistent posting. So that probably didn't take a ton of time, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Sure.
Now I would say it's probably 35 to 40 because I'm spending a little time trying to scroll through and comment back and hashtag. My ideal is to move towards 1 full hour of I'm going to do 2 power hours. I'm going to have 1 be just Instagram. I honestly, I need to get off Facebook because it's that's just personally where I'm at right now, and I feel like it's kind of tapping out. I'm a little bit over it, and I feel like it's a waste of time for me. And I'm just kind of scrolling through, and I still comment on people's posts, and I'm still super engaged there. But I feel like I need to spend more time over on Instagram. So if I could get to a place where I could spend an hour, that would be fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I would just say go for, the consistent posting first, maybe that's 10, 15 minutes, and then, just kind of build it in as you get a little more consistency. And this is all stuff this isn't stuff that you could probably do it pretty easily. It maybe doesn't have to be built into your power hour, but you could bring a notebook with you, and write down some people's names and just scroll through while your kids are, doing something. Or that's kind of what I try to do is I just always bring a little notebook with me. And if I have an extra 10 minutes, I'll just scroll through. and I'll try to search some hashtags or, write down some people's names so that the next morning I can maybe start a conversation. Or so maybe it doesn't fit into your power hour, and that's okay, but maybe you just try to add in, like, while instead of watching 10 minutes of a show, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to scroll through and start to search for people. Because that's the link that I was missing before. I was doing the posting and then I was doing the hashtagging, but I wasn't spending time commenting or following back. And now I'm starting to message, and people are pretty cool. They respond if you message them for the most part. Especially if you have something in common or it's kind of easy to bring something up.
So, quick question. You had mentioned that you will kind of comment on someone who you can tell is clearly on a journey, weight loss journey, but isn't a coach, and you'll reach out and maybe invite them. How does that look? I mean, how do you start that conversation with someone, and how has it been successful? Have you gotten challengers that way?
No, I mean, I think I'm at the point right now where that's what I'm trying to do. Like just last week and this week, that's what I've built into my power hour, is actually going in and trying to message people to get that conversation started. But I've been chatting with a lady who does it really well and kind of picking her brain. And she didn't really give me like the conversation leader, because it's going to look so different. Like how Rachel approaches people at a ball game to say hi is going to be different than how Bridget approaches, so like she didn't really have like a here's what to say, because she's like, it's really just, it's so different for each person and how you approach someone. So maybe you just, give them a compliment, like, oh my gosh, you're super motivating, and obviously this is going to be something that's genuine and how you would say it, but you're so motivating, can I ask you a couple of questions, like just to get some engagement. So there's questions so that they have a reason to write back, and then through that you can maybe just pick out where they're at in their journey and just kind of like bring it in somehow. Like, have you ever thought of doing XYZ, because I see you doing this already? And, maybe it's someone that you already correspond with for a while and it doesn't come up until the right time, if that makes sense. So maybe it doesn't have to be like out of the get-go, but maybe you guys kind of like follow each other back, you comment on each other's, and then you kind of feel like, okay, I kind of know this person, and now I'm going to kind of, reach out and see where they're at. So yeah, I don't really have a actual conversation I can kind of share with everyone saying like, this is how you start it. But I would just try to find a reason to reach out to the people that you have something in common with. And, if you complimenting them on their page, because who doesn't like a compliment? That always feels awesome, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have those conversations like in the comment section, or do you do a private message with them?
Private message. So I would say use the comments to maybe start having your name pop up on their feed.
Okay.
If it's someone that you're kind of like, oh, I'm jiving with this person, they could be someone I would want to work with.
Okay. But then when you're having like the steady conversation, you're saying that you just you do it in the private conversation.
Then it would bring it into private message. Yep.
Okay.
And you'll see like a lot of people will comment on people's Instagram accounts, and I feel like it'll get kind of lost, or you get those cheesy ones like great account, and you can kind of tell that they're trying to sell them something. And so make yours a little different, and yours is going to be different because you're going to go the step extra and you're going to go into private message.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the magic can happen, is through that messaging then. Because, I mean, if I got one and someone complimented me on my page, I'd be like, sweet. And then I'd be following them back, like, oh, I want to see what this person's about. And then maybe they're just like, oh my gosh, she's pretty cool. I want to know what she does. So don't be afraid to talk about coaching. Talk about, challenge groups once in a while, like just weave it in and little sprinkle some dust.
Mm-hmm.
So I had something that I don't know if you've looked into it much, Bridget, but I use the Explore tab to get a lot of my motivation, because my thing is I do get a lot of my inspiration from other coaches.
Yeah.
But sometimes I hate to like follow them to constantly get updated from them of like their type of like what they're kind of doing or what they're saying, because then they could follow me back and be like, hey, this girl's copying me. So what I do, the Explore page is tailored to what you like.
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll purposely like look up hashtags that have to do with Beachbody, and the accounts that I kind of like your term, jive with. I like a lot of their pictures. So those types of profiles are always, so when you go to my Explore tab, it's either people working out, Grey's Anatomy quotes, or Shih Tzus. Like those are the three things that mostly come up on my Instagram Explore tab. And so I just wanted to add that might be helpful. There's a couple people that I've got a lot of like inspiration or just like motivation just by like every night before I go to bed, I scroll through the Explore tab and I screenshot so many different things, like recipes, everything. And I just thought that it was a really cool feature that
that's awesome. Yep. So there you go. Like if you don't know what to post, that's a great resource. Go to the Explore tab and, you know, search things that are kind of eye-catching to you and, you know, kind of tweak it and make it your own. Just kind of get some good ideas. And so like if I go in to my Instagram and I just hit the little magnifying glass and I scroll down below, it says what you might like. So it kind of knows me as a user and what I stop at, and it's going to populate things that I like. And so if I scroll through, it's a lot of people with workouts, it's food, it's runners, it's shopping, and that's exactly my brand. So that's kind of fun. You can find people that way that maybe are motivating to you or to get ideas from, like Courtney said. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's a great thing to do, is to use it as a place to motivate you for posts. You know, don't always post on the run. You know, think of something. Maybe you think like, oh, I got to take a picture of this and I'm going to talk about this, or write down some ideas for the week on Sunday night, or, you know, it doesn't always have to be post and go. But again, like Jess said, try to make them creative. Try to, you know, if you're going to talk about Shakeology, make it kind of, you know, inconspicuous and make it kind of like a cool picture of you doing something fun with Shakeology or something creative, or not just a picture of the bag, like she said. And you can do really fun things with pictures and people and your environment if you're outside doing something. Like today I took one of me, you know, so I have a lot of like workout ones. I have some clean eating ones. I have some mama boys ones. I took one of me sitting on my bed, and it was this cool blanket that I love on our bed, and it was over my legs, but you could see my pink pedicured toes, and I had an Athleta magazine. And I just said, Mommy's taking a 30-minute of me time while the boys play outside. And then I just, you know, talked about how important that is, even if you only get 15 or 20 minutes to take me time, and what does that look like to you. So again, that shows me and my brand. You know, Athleta catalog is addicting. So think about things that make you unique, that are going to happen throughout your day. It doesn't have to always be workouts. It doesn't always have to be food. Something that's going to like resonate with somebody else. Like, oh my gosh, I like athletic too. Or, oh, I like pink toes. Or you never know. Like Rachel said, if you put something in there, it might jive with someone else.
So has anyone ever gotten a challenger from Instagram? Anyone out in this group right now?
I don't. Rachel, you have? Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about how that started? I mean, it's just a total stranger that just, I mean, what did that person, what kind of post were you able to grab that person from?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of people that I had originally following me obviously were my friends. But this, I mean, I've only had a handful of people that have become challengers based on Instagram. 2 of them were not people that I knew. And so, yeah, it was just a post, and then, they started following me. It was, I know for a fact, I think actually both of them I posted the 3-day refresh, my before and after. And these people, ironically, are not on Facebook, so there was no crossover. So coaching them was a bit of a challenge, but I just texted them. So their start date was the same day as my next challenge group, and I just would copy and paste my whatever I posted to my challengers in a text to those people. So and they've in fact, one of them, she's now a discount coach, and she's getting shakes on regular basis. So
when you say text from your phone, like a regular text, or text into Instagram account?
No, I actually just texted them their phone number. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way. I don't, I was kind of like, I didn't really know what to do. But yeah, maybe in the future I would do, I would just do it via the Instagram Messenger.
Okay.
So when you were chatting with them, Rachel, was it all through Instagram message? Like
it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I didn't coach them there. I lumped the 2 people that I got into just a group text, and it was just easier to just.
Yeah, well, that makes sense for coaching wise. But yeah, all your initial conversations were through the messenger in Instagram and talking about like how much a challenge pack is and all that stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And they weren't like friends of friends. They were just complete, no connection. Okay.
No connection.
Okay.
So before and after photos work.
They do.
Sometimes we're scared to post them, but people love the visual, you guys. Always do those progress photos.
Yep.
No, I mean, this is great because I've been posting a lot of before and after in my Facebook, and I guess I just really don't do a whole lot on Instagram. But now, just kind of listening to you guys, it's not the same followers. I mean, some of these, because I'm so sick of posting my before and after on Facebook, and I guess I've done a few, but not really as much as I do on Facebook, and I forget that it's a whole different set of eyes that are looking at my stuff.
Absolutely.
Tom, you do a lot of really good workout videos too on Facebook, and I know that Melissa McAllister's built a lot of her Instagram business on workout videos.
Mm-hmm.
Short ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
You could be using a lot of the same stuff you've already used on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Right.
Not even reinventing the wheel.
It could just be move of the day, do this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, move of the day. I mean, for real. It could be that simple.
Yeah. Great ideas.
And you're funny. I don't know. I just feel like you're going to have a whole audience out there, a whole niche just of new people.
Oh.
All sorts
Thanks.
of good hashtags, lady.
So I'm gonna tell you this story really quick before we wrap up. So there's a gal, and I think I posted one of her. We watched her talk, and I can't remember where, if it was in a training or a team page. But anyway, actually, I think it was in the Emerald to Diamond group. She does Instagram, awesome, but her profile name is "Why Are You Smiling?" And that's the theme of her page, you guys. And I'll find her and I'll screenshot her when we're all done too, and I'll put it in the comments on Team on the Run. But she's like, "Why are you always smiling?" That's her Facebook or her Instagram name, and it's every single picture of her. This cheesy grin, but it's always in a different location, and it's always doing something different. And it's sometimes food, and it's sometimes a workout. And she'll just talk about how, you know, she's had all these horrible things in life happen, but why she chooses to smile, you know. And she'll talk about, you know, here's this disease that I used to have, and, you know, I couldn't work out, but like today I can, you know, so this is why I'm smiling. And that's her theme. And she has such a big following, and people like message her all the time. And I'm going to find, what, do you know who I'm talking about, Jess?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I posted it somewhere and we watched a video on her, but it's just like, I saw her and I figured out that she was a coach, and then she was in a training that she held a team call, and I was like, oh my gosh, I found her on Instagram because I seriously stopped. I'm like, why is this lady always smiling? And it's just like this, you know, this like cheesy grin, and you're almost like laughing, but it's like, it makes other people want to smile because she's smiling. So that's kind of like a whole different thing if you want to think about taking your page to like be a common theme. It's really kind of fun. I don't know how else you would do it, but it's just it's her story, and like she has so many followers, and she adds like 20 coaches a month on Instagram. It's crazy.
Love that. I love that. Bridget, I'm just like so inspired by this call. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Tons of good information. Does anybody, it's late, so I don't want to keep you, but does anybody have any other questions as we wrap up?
No, I'm sorry that I was so late. I feel like I missed out on good information, but in the few minutes that I've been on here, it's already, you know, my wheels are churning. So thank you for that.
Good. You're welcome. I mean, like I said, I'm totally not an expert, and I am just kind of spending more time growing it. So I was hoping to, you know, share with you guys these tips as we're all kind of trying to gain some traction there, and just let you know that this is like a really good place to spend your time if you can, you know, maybe chop off a little bit of your Facebook time and move some of your time over to Instagram. You know, and if you're a brand new spanking coach, that's your call. Like if you feel like you need to build up Facebook, you know, and it's too hard to manage too, I totally would say just stick with one. I would say don't feel like you need to do both if you can't do both well. But I feel like I kind of got the Facebook thing down, and I'm kind of over it. And so now I need to move on and also add Instagram, and I'll still be doing Facebook, but I just need to spend a lot more time here. So definitely just see where you are at in your coaching journey. And but I think if you start to move towards it, you're gonna see some good stuff happening.
I think so too. I personally, Bridget, you're way more of an expert than I am, and I liked that this is like stuff we can actually wrap our mind around doing, rather than like
right
national wake up calls, superstar, Instagram bazillionaire. You know, like sometimes I'm like, I don't even know where to start, and then I don't do anything.
Yeah, and that's how I was. I was spending 2 months of my time just going, oh my gosh, I need to do something, and I need to do something now, because I'm kind of in a hold steady place. But I got connected with some people, and I just asked a lot of questions and took a few trainings on it. And so now I just need to spend a little bit more time, but hopefully we can all share more tips with each other as we grow.
This is great stuff. Thank you so much.
You're
and just
welcome.
the recording right away tonight or tomorrow morning, so Chung, you can see the first parts that you missed.
Oh, good. All right, thanks.
Thanks so much for tuning in, ladies. And Bridget, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good to see you guys tonight.
Yes, you were super helpful, and I know you're tired, so I'll let you ladies go, but I just really appreciate all this information. So thank you. You're welcome. You guys have a good night. You too. All right. Good night, ladies. Good night. Hey, Jason.